Canada. Put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Hey, man, call your mother.
It means nothing. It means nothing.
Nah, they lying to you. It's about the money.
Now you're more fluent.
Oh, showtime. I'm sorry. My fault. Get focused.
I'm out of it.
Where you at, Tom? What's going on, brother? What's the problem?
I'm confused.
Mashugana is the word we're looking for.
Is it Mashugana?
That's the word from Stuart Scott, the late Stuart Scott. The Mashugana word. Yes, I got all Mashugana. Like you're all over the place and you're trying to do this and you're trying to do that. Next thing you know,
I always said just disheveled, but Mashugana. I'll check because I am an honorary Jew through my the Jewish Community Center. The parents there told me, so I will check with them if that's the correct term because I don't want to use the wrong one. But like, while you were off doing work for us and getting the right connections and people and enjoying the weather, I quite literally have a snow bank that is 10 feet high on either side of my driveway that my kids are loving.
It's not that high, Tone. No way.
Hold on a second. Wootage, the show Sunday stopped out of nowhere? What do you mean it stopped out of nowhere? Please explain. But anyways, 10 feet of snow on either side. And I don't know what to do. And Jay, you froze. Oh, wait.
I'm
now you're back.
good.
Oh, good. You just stopped. You just stopped for a second. You just weren't moving.
I'm good.
And so let me try to get in order my life. And you tell me about what is this? What is this? My son is growing a low taper fade like all the kids that
I see the fade. I see the fade. It's clean. I like it, nephew. I do like it.
You got to show the fade.
Yes. Hey, nephew. Hey, nephew. Really quickly, who cuts your hair?
Hold on. He can't hear you until I do this. There you go.
Nephew. Hey, nephew. Who cuts your hair?
Who cuts your hair? His name is Sador.
Yeah.
At Ultimate Fades.
Nice. That's clean right there. I like it. I do. I like that. That's a clean fade right there.
Look at Jay's. Jay does it himself. He does it himself. Yeah. You got to learn because Ultimate Fades is getting expensive.
But now here's the thing, nephew. This what you got to remember. Remember this. So my barber, he had been cutting my hair since I was younger than you, and he passed away. And I didn't trust anybody else to do it except him. So when he passed away, I had to learn how to cut my own hair because he'd been cutting my hair since I was younger than you. So that was me.
Then that makes sense.
So nephew, in the future, remember, if any woman tells you in the future that men aren't loyal, just make sure you remind her that we got the same football team and the same barber for X amount of years. So don't ever let a woman tell you that we're not loyal because that's not true.
There you go. You got that? That's the lesson of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any questions for us before we continue with our show?
Mm-hmm.
Are you good?
Yeah.
So we can continue?
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate that.
When I'm listening.
Oh, maybe you want to tell Jay the news. Who's going to be our guest here in a couple of weeks? Got speaking to the mic and tell him.
We got Mac McClung.
Mac McClung coming through. Nice. We got the dunk champ. Yeah, get him on.
He's going to teach him how to dunk. All right.
Yes, sir. We got the dunk champ. I like that.
In our
sir.
He can dunk our 8-foot rim here in the basement. Which actually still kind of impressive. Yeah, Matt McClung. Yeah, so that should be fun. Since he saved the dunk off. We're going to talk a lot about the All-Star game, obviously. But sorry. So you were there. You were in San Francisco. So I saw the only thing I saw was you said what's up to our good friend Trista.
I did.
Who owes us an appearance on the show. And I saw you schooling some people. I still see you got that fadeaway, that little post up fade.
Tone, I was out there just chilling,
nice.
man. I was.
It was like, I was scared you're going to hurt yourself on that up and under move on Ox. But the fadeaway was clean. And then I saw the one there, that kid must have been chirping at you because I saw you bury your forehead into his forehead and be like, let's go.
Uh-huh.
Was not PC crew. That was just was there.
I want to start by saying, Tone, I had to duck my head away from the mirror on the side of the bus because I almost cracked my head open.
Is that because I saw you do that?
So trying to take Ox to the basket. I had to duck my head away from the mirror. That's one. And I just was hanging. You know, I thought the All-Star Weekend, because All-Star Weekend is a zoo. It is, Tone. It's nuts out there. There's a whole bunch of other things. You know, we were working 8-10 hour days, you know, and we were constantly going. And you know, we got some really good footage, but what I want to say more than anything is to the mayor of San Francisco. I want to let you know that you've done a terrible job with the city of San Francisco. That city has become a toilet. With the amount of resources and the amount of money that flows through that city regularly, that city should not be as dirty and as disgusting as it is. And it's a travesty for that city to be, because the Bay Area is beautiful. Tone, you used to live up there, so you know what it is. You know what the Bay Area looks like, just like I used to live in the Bay Area. But the city of San Francisco is a toilet, and it should not be. And that's to the mayor of San Francisco. You are doing a terrible job. You need to clean that city up. That is unacceptable. What's going on out there? Completely unacceptable. But
I don't want to just let that pass because I don't know when you lived there.
Sure. From 98 to 2002, I was there.
Okay, so I was there from 09 to 2011, and it was still beautiful. Like any big city, it had its big city issues. But I purposely moved so I was in Northern California. So I started in Southern California, Arizona, Colorado, and then my last stop was in Northern California. And I started in I started pretty far out. I started kind of, I don't even know, Walnut Creek is probably the people will know. Walnut Creek is on the other side of the bay, like on the Oakland side, but outside of Oakland. Obviously, it's a very nice kind of suburb. And I was like, and I myself going into San Francisco all the time. So I said, forget this, and I got a beautiful. And this is not a braggy thing. This is just I've got lucky. I found a beautiful, one of those exposed brick condos with the second floor that had the bedroom and stuff upstairs that you can overlook. So it's beautiful in the financial district. And it was. Let me tell you, walking at night, going out, never an issue. I left there in 2011 or 2012, actually, maybe. I think, actually, it was 2012. Hey, either way, moved back to Toronto. Went back last year, around this time, actually March of last year, and I was appalled at what I saw.
Night and day, Tone?
The best area where I lived was a dump. The malls, half of the places were shut down and boarded up. You know, graffiti, homelessness. And I get those are issues all over the place, but I mean, I've never seen a place turn. And here's the kicker of it. I know that they can do better. And why I know they can do better is because I used to feel that Detroit was, and I'm beating this drum again, that Detroit needed a lot of work. And as you know, I was in Detroit to see those Piston game back to back, and we spent some time in Detroit. And the people of Detroit, they have done such an amazing job, such an amazing job in Detroit, where now the downtown core is beautiful. It's look, again, big city. It's going to have its crime, but I mean, significantly safer, cleaner, nicer. Like it's night and day. So they were able to do it in Detroit. There's no reason. Unless you're scared to do what needs to be done, and that's part of the problem, to clean it up, because it's a beautiful city in a beautiful part of the country, and it's sad that
it is.
It when you guys invite, I was on the list to come to All-Star Weekend with Players' Choice, and I'm like, I would go, but I don't know that I want to take my family, and that's what stopped me. There's a bunch of stuff, but had I felt better about it, they would have loved you. Obviously, he's a Golden State fan. That's his. I showed you where my brother was. My brother was right there courtside the whole weekend. I probably could have got him 5 minutes with his hero Steph Curry. Like there was a lot of reasons to go, and I just didn't want to do it. So
I actually enjoyed myself outside of what was going on in San Francisco, but I mean the festivities, Tone. We had the NBA experience right downtown. I got an opportunity to talk to Janae from ESPN.
Oh, yeah.
She's awesome. I missed them too, Tone. Like literally just missed them. But I missed Mitch Richmond. I just missed him. I was trying to get I was trying to get over to him, but I couldn't.
Oh, why did you? You know what? You know what? We needed to coordinate this better because Mitch was down there with Chris and with Tim Hardaway, and I could have texted if you were near them. I could have texted him and said, "Hey,
this is my man." I literally just missed him because we were doing something and Mitch was on the other side. He had something going on, and by the time we got over there, he was gone. That's Sharif Abdul Rahim. We talked to him for a little bit. He's awesome.
He's good people.
Yes, 100%. He's good people. The professor from N1. Yeah, he was there. Yep. They we had some really good interactions with some people. Really good interactions with some people. Ran into Shaq. He was so busy, so we didn't really get a chance to we really didn't get a chance to talk long, but he told me he was gonna rough me up if I keep talking about him.
I'm gonna rough him up for wearing that hat.
Yeah, that's my people's though. What can I say? Yeah, that's family right there. But overall, Tony, All-Star Weekend, man, it was great. It was great. We were in a part of town where everything was going on. We got to do a little bit of sightseeing, but for the most part, we were where all the action was, and we saw a lot of cool things. Yeah, we did. We saw a lot of cool things. Now, mind you, Tony, I haven't been back to the All-Star game since 2002. I was out after 2002. Shaq, I told Shaq, and Shaq would ask me, he's like, "Yo, you coming to Los Angeles? Or you coming to Atlanta?" I'm not. I'm good on the All-Star game, but
you should go next.
Was a good experience.
I think Fluent and Chill should go next year.
That would be dope, Tony, if we could do it next year.
Because it's in LA.
In Los Angeles, yep.
Where as you know, where I used to live. And obviously as a Laker fan, we all know a lot of people there. So there's a lot of stuff we can do. I think that might be the one that that we can't say no to. I'm trying to find. There we go. I finally found it. So that might be the one that we need to go to.
And the festivities, and I know we're going to get to this, but the festivities were a little underwhelming, to say the least. A lot of the stuff that was going on. I mean, Chris Paul and Wemby. Just so you know, that was coordinated, by the way.
Can we talk about that? Can we talk about that?
100%.
Because I am so torn. Because on one side, I'm like, that is a despicable act.
Yes.
Of nonsense, and I can't believe that he would influence a young player like Wemby into doing that. And then the other side of me, which is always been I know, I don't care if it's Monopoly, the NBA, I know. I'll use Monopoly as an example. I know every single rule off by heart, which is why I've never lost a game of Monopoly. And I use every single rule to my advantage to make sure that, I'll know. Bill Belichick cheated, but Bill Belichick knows every single rule of football, and there were times when he used every single rule to get an advantage.
He knows how to bend the rules. He 100% knows how to bend the rules.
I'm not suggesting bending. I'm saying use the letter of the rules exactly the way that, there's certain things where it's about, getting the last sub in, or he would have all his offensive linemen become eligible receivers to change. He would do stuff, forget the illegal stuff for a second. He would do legal stuff that would just throw people off. Right. So that's why the other side of me is well, by rule, what they did is allowed.
Yes, it is.
So it's also brilliant And so do I blame the flopper or the person calling the flop? And you know how I feel about that.
Right.
I blame the person calling the flop. So as much as I think it was disgusting,
Yeah.
it was the rule.
Now remember this too, Tone. You don't go to jail for what you did. You go to jail for what you previously did. So if you think about what Chris Paul had going on, did he coordinate this whole thing? There's a part of me that's like, yeah.
Of course he did. 100%.
There's a part of me that's like, yes, he did. But Wemby could have had something to do with this too, for as far as I know. Wemby, but
I don't think Wemby as a second-year player would say, hey, let me destroy the integrity of this competition. I'm sorry. CP3, on the other hand, who's a bona fide jerk, and I don't blame him for that because so am I. I could 100%.
Wait a minute though, Tone. But you just told me you have to advocate for the rules. Now I'm doing what's within the rules. Wemby seems like a smart guy. So with him and Chris Paul talking about strategy, Wemby probably knew the rules. And hey, listen, we could do this, and we're not going to get in trouble for it because it's part of the rules. Wemby could have had something to do with that and coordinating that. 100%
I
he could have done that.
More. If I was a betting man, I would bet my money that CP3 said, hey, if we just throw all the balls out really quick, because it's about time, right, we could skip past the shoot and watch it, miss it, and he was like, oh yeah, that's true, we should do that. Like I could see him playing along. I don't think he's saying, hey CP, let's do this. I can't see. I'm sorry.
I'm trying to figure out whose idea it was, but I do think that he has something to do with it. And I remember watching the skills competition over the weekend, Tone, and it was underwhelming to the point where I'm thinking to myself, these dudes are so cool and they so worried about being shown up, or instead of recognizing that it's called the skills Tone?
Challenge,
which is a competition. So that's the idea, to compete in it. So
but the first part of it is
the skills challenge.
Skills. And one of the skills is shooting the ball into the hoop.
We might have a problem.
So you skipped an entire skill, although it is timed.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the rule should be. An attempt to shoot the ball must be made. That's all. Just a little caveat 100%. At the bottom.
That's part of it, though. Now, I will say this, Tone. It did have me with a little bit of nostalgia watching Chris Paul and Wemby, watching the other guys in the skills challenge. And I'm thinking to myself, because I'm not that, get off my lawn guy. No, I'm not. I'm not that guy. However, I am watching it and thinking to myself, what would Magic look like in the skills competition? What would Stockton or Mark Price or Gary Payton? What would these guys look like? What would Penny Hardaway look like in the skills competition? How great would Jason Kidd? Because Jason Kidd 100% would get in the skills competition.
Oh,
100% he would get in it.
I think Jason Kidd, because they should have Jason Kidd. I think he can still do it.
Yes, today he probably can still do it. There's plenty of guys that I'm watching and I'm thinking to myself, man, I wish they would have had stuff like this back in the 80s and the 90s, because these guys would have loved to do this. I think it would have been big time, strictly off the strength that like Jason Kidd would have wanted to beat Stockton in it, right? Gary Payton would have wanted to beat Mark Price. 100% he would have wanted to beat Mark Price. So I thought it was a little, I did think it was a little bit underwhelming from the Chris Paul standpoint, but I like this. I like the events. Now, I will say this, Tone. My boy Darius Garland let me down. I thought that I had Darius Garland winning the 3-point contest. And I think in the first round he had like 22 or something like that. I thought he was going to win it, and everybody was talking about Dame this, Dame that, which I understand it. I mean, we talking about, I think he's the 2-time defending champ, something like that, but I thought Darius Garland was going to win it. It was the money ball rack that screwed him up more than anything.
Well, your boy.
Oh, boy.
Your boy. He hates me. His brother hates me. But your boy. Cancel All-Star Weekend and let's just give everybody a break since we're so miserable around this time.
Well,
cool. I agree.
No, we're not canceling the All-Star. No, we're not canceling All-Star Weekend. What are you talking about, KD? No, we're not.
Why?
No.
He's right.
Well, number one, not everybody's miserable. I love the All-Star game. I don't like the fact that you guys have let it turn into to something else, but I still recognize an All-Star being an All-Star.
Wait. You like the All-Star game, or you like the All-Star weekend and festivities?
I think it all ties in. Tone, the All-Star weekend started in 1984, and it was for the fans. That's what it was for. So since 1984,
what are we doing for the fans?
okay, so just being out this weekend, how close these guys are able to get to how close the fans are able to get to these guys and see these guys. It's the ultimate fan experience where you see guys at the All-Star game, when you see guys at I think it was NBA City that we went to, like Media Day and all of that stuff. These guys are out, they're out and about in the city, all around. They're not hard to find. It's not a big deal to bump into Jason Tatum. It's not at all. And I mean, that's part of the experience.
Did you bump into Jason Tatum?
I did not bump into Jason Tatum. However, I did bump into Cade Cunningham, though. Yes, I did. Mm-hmm.
Oh, how's he doing?
Yeah, good. And he's a bit of 6'7" too, Tone, by the way. Yes, he
is. Oh,
is.
yeah. I like I said,
yes,
the Pistons I know well, so that's
yes, he
I
is.
know.
Mm-hmm. So with that being said, right? With that being said, the idea of everybody being miserable, no, everybody isn't miserable, and I don't want to cancel it. I will say this though, Tom, because I know which way he was going with this. I do. Okay, I know exactly which way he was going with this. Like guys like Charles and Kenny and how they talk about
they're poo-pooing it. Absolutely.
Right. And that doesn't help the game. That doesn't, because that wasn't going on years ago. When you guys were coming up, the older guys weren't Oscar Robertson and Bill Russell and Chamberlain and those, they weren't talking about you like that. They weren't doing that.
Well, in fact, people nowadays go back to those commentators and stuff and make fun of them for how much they were hyping up something that wasn't
that big a deal.
Oh my God, he dribbled behind his back. What an incredible play. I've never seen that before. And it's like, yeah, you have, bro, but it was the promotion. It was, but now we've created a culture where we don't lift things up anymore. We shit on them. I'm sorry, pardon my language. We make fun of them. We cannot make any comment on any else and make any video comment, whatever, on social media. No matter if it's bunnies are cute, you'll get a series of people who telling you no, they make good stew, right? Like chop them up and eat. Like they don't. That's the sad culture that we've become, and that team, specifically Chuck, is no different. It's about the negative. And so I get where KD is coming from, because one, he's hearing how terrible All-Star Weekend is. Two, let's be honest. They're specifically talking about the All-Star game itself, which isn't as good as it used to be. It's not. That's not me being an old head. That's not me loving one era over another. That's just me who loves basketball, watching a game and going, wow, they really don't put in as much effort to win this as they used to, although this year was a little bit better. It's still, like, I still saw, Wemby, I think it was, just dribble up and all the guys just go, okay, go ahead, Wem, and let him have like a lane to do whatever how he does.
But it was not on one hand, Tom, there was some competition there. Wemby being who Wemby is, first time he ever played in an All-Star game. The idea that, I'm playing in an All-Star game. He was competing. Yes, he was. He was trying to play defense.
It's better than it has been. 100%.
Yes, he 100% was competing, and I give Wemby credit for that. I'm not a big fan of the whole, 40-point game. We're gonna play the 40. No, Tone, the All-Star game, and again, I'm not the get off my lawn kind of dude. No, but there are some things that don't need to be changed. There are some things that you have to have pride in. The All-Star game is the East All-Stars versus the West All-Stars. Let's get it on. Your 5 against my 5. And let's find out who the best is. Now, the masses will tell you.
The problem, just before you go in, the problem with that, though, is it's for the fans.
Right.
So
that's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be the best pickup game in the world.
So they're voting in not the best players. It's the players that they like the best.
Right.
The most.
I mean, there are. I feel like there were guys that, got snubbed. I mean, I talked about it. I think I think Trae Young should have been an outright All-Star. Somebody shouldn't have had to step aside in order for him to play in the All-Star game. No, I think he should have been an All-Star, hands down. But with that being said, I don't particularly like the 40-point games because, again, one, Tony, aren't there records, like scoring records going on in the All-Star game? Aren't there assist records? Like I had 22 assists, and I think Chris Paul, I want to say Chris Paul or Russell Westbrook had something like 15 assists in the All-Star game. I mean, I'm not gonna have. Well, see, that's the thing, Tone. That part right there, the fact that the game has been reduced to what it's been reduced to, it's exactly what you just said. Who cares now? Nobody cares that Cat scored 50 last year in the All-Star game. He scored 50 points, and nobody cares. And here's the thing: the All-Star game used to be competitive. I think that I feel like
that's why no one cares. I don't care that he scored 50 points because it's a layup line. Who cares that he scored 50 points?
I feel like these guys competed a little bit more this year. I just want them to get back to competing in an actual game instead of it being, we're gonna play to 21. No, because what you're doing. First of all, I think I read a stat. There was actually, excuse me, I think it was 33 minutes of basketball and 2.5 hours of Shaq and Kevin Hart.
I don't know if that was real, but it sure as hell felt that way.
It did. It really did. Like, these guys are the show. We came to see basketball. That's what we're here for, not this. And it was kind of corny. It was, in my estimation, it was kind of corny. I just remember the game being more competitive than what it is now. Don't get me wrong. I think that it was competitive yesterday. I think it was competitive on yesterday. I just remember it being more competitive, and I feel like I feel like
you're saying though. Yeah, but what you're saying, I see what you're saying, but I don't feel like going back is going to make it competitive like it was, because the players today don't hold the same things in high regard as an older generation does. So I think with the game evolving, the players changing, what they find it to be important changing, we can't change them to do what we want. We need to change the All-Star game to make it something that they care about. So if playing a game to 40 where they're like, no, I see the end, right? So that's what I want. I have a target score, because that's, hey, when we play pickup, we don't time it.
Nope. First team to 11.
First team to 11. First team. I play on one night a week. We play first team to 30, and then we go through. So we have a number. So if that's how any pickup game, there's no pickup game that's timed. So if this is the ultimate pickup game, then I can see why they want it to be like a pickup game and say, okay, we played it. Okay, we're playing a 40. So I'm actually okay with that.
Interesting. That's interesting right there, Tone. No doubt.
If it gets them to, because if you think about it, every summer, right? I had a conversation with someone before where I got to see like the ultimate pickup game ever back in 2001 and when I was in Chicago. Because that was the news lately. And I said, but every time I played or watched or whatever, a pickup game, in the summer especially, they were very competitive, but it was always, we played to this. And that's why I think it was, you pushed yourself a little bit more, because you knew like, hey, once I get to 30, I'm done, right? We beat these punks. Whereas, I got 28 more minutes, I'm a coast. I think they play harder when it's a number. And as the score gets closer to the end too, I think they play a little bit harder too, because that's just human nature. Like you see in the All-Star game, if you remember, even in the bad ones, that was 275 to 262. The last minute was actually still, this is actually good basketball. The last minute,
right?
So when you're playing a game to 30, I think maybe change it from 40 to 30, because I think that actually makes it more the shorter game. I know it's so anti-tradition, but
okay. So if we're doing that, because we can run up 30 really quickly, that's basically a quarter. That's essentially what that is in the NBA. You can score 30 in a quarter, but we can get one guy going in a quarter too.
But that's why you do a tournament.
So if we're gonna do that, then if we're gonna do that, we got to take out. We have to take out a lot of the festivities during the game. So like the comedians and all the yapping, like let's get to basketball. That way we can have more, right? I feel like we can have more of the game and less of the sideshow. That's one. Two, if we're gonna do that,
yeah, get rid of a lot of that.
I feel like we can get rid of the sideshow. And two, if we're gonna have that, we also have to have it being more action, because like those guys were sitting around a lot. And when you're sitting around a lot, you're like, we don't get to get right back to the game. And if I'm sitting over there for half an hour, I'm sitting over there for 20 minutes, I mean, I feel like I feel like I don't get to get back to it. So
listen, I'm with you in the sense, would I love to go back and watch East versus West and see them play, 48 good minutes of basketball, and heck, the winner gets, someone said in the chat too, the winner gets home court, that conference gets home court. Sure, I'd love it. For the last 20 years or 10 years, the players have said we're not doing it. We don't care. So if you don't care, then doing what we want.
Right. Well, here's the question, Tom. What do the fans want? I think the fans want a ball game. I think that's what they came for.
Fans want that, but
yes,
the players have shown they don't care what the fans want.
And that's the downside, which goes back to what KD was talking about, where he's like, well, let's just cancel this. No, we're not doing that, KD. We have to come to us. That's the
mentality. That's the mentality. Oh, you don't like what we're doing? Then don't do it at all. Then we won't do it at all.
No, that's not the way that works. All right. You don't like it, so we'll just quit.
You don't like what I'm doing? I'm gonna take my ball and go home.
No, that's not the way that works. No, man, we won't just quit. Okay, let's figure out something else. And I feel like the All-Star game, I do understand that a lot of these guys are making so much money that
what a great point. What a great point. Because here David Aldridge said, it's hard to get a man who's making $40 million a year to see why he should bust his hump in a game that doesn't mean anything in the standings.
Well, see, that's the thing, though. The All-Star game meant something. Being an All-Star meant something. Being the All-Star game MVP amongst your peers, that meant something. When Jordan won it in 98, the MVP, when Bryant won it in 2002 in Philly, when Shaq and Bryant won it in 2009 in Phoenix. I mean, it meant something to be the All-Star game MVP. It meant something to be an All-Star. It's almost where all you care about is getting paid, and you don't care about being an All-Star. You don't care about being an All-Pro. And I think that's don't get me wrong, Tone. And you being a businessman, you know this way better than I do. I do understand that basketball is a business, but on the flip side to that, it's still part of my job. I still have to be good at it.
If I may, I call BS on this anyways. And here's why I call BS on this. Because last year I saw a 39-year-old man take his team on his back at 39 years old, with some help from his teammates, of course, but took his team on his back at 39 years old and act like they were winning an NBA championship when they won an in-season tournament. And guess what? The championship game of the in-season tournament does not matter in the standings at all. That game means nothing in the standings. So I say that, so you're lying, because a guy making $50 million a year who at 39 years old seemed to care enough about a game that didn't matter in the standings. So what I'm being told is they just don't have the right motivation to make the All-Star game more competitive.
Well, it's not about the bread neither, Tone. Let's be clear about that.
Motivation. That's the question. What is their how can we get what both sides want?
Well, I don't think that it's about the money, because they make plenty of money. So we can't give them more money, right? I don't think that
there wouldn't be enough money to get to a profitable weekend for the NBA, because let's be honest, if it's not profitable for them, they're not going to do it. So there's not enough money that keeps them profitable and gives enough to the players to make them play hard.
It's not, Tone. Unfortunately.
At the end of the day, they're going to need the players. I'm sorry, I'm putting this on the players. Sorry, Kevin Durant. But it's on the players to do two things. Give a shit. So be competitive. And two, Give your fans, who at the end of the day, if it's not for those people buying tickets, buying merchandise, let's be honest, watching you on TV, because that's where like the majority of the money comes from, is the TV deal. If it's not for those fans who are buying merch, going to games, and watching you on TV, there's no money to give you $50 million a year. And the fact that a guy like Kevin Durant, who's made hundreds of millions of dollars, would say something so asinine is a slap in the face to everything that gives him and his family all the wonderful things that they have from basketball. That's a slap in the face, and Kevin Durant should be ashamed of himself.
Because I just don't want to get rid of it, Tone. I mean, I think that that's ridiculous to just go, yo, y'all hate it anyway, so let's just get rid of it. Okay, so if that's the case, let's get rid of the playoffs, because, not many people watched the playoffs last year.
Get rid of the regular season.
Yeah, how about we do so not many people watch the regular season, so let's just get rid of it, right? Let's just get rid of the regular season.
Because everyone says it's just a 3-point shooting contest right now anyways, and it's bad basketball and ratings are down. So let's just get rid of the whole entire NBA.
Yep, let's just do that.
What do you think Kevin Durant's going to do if he didn't have basketball?
It would be really difficult, considering I just seen him in an interview, and he was basically in tears talking about the game. So if you care about the game that much, right? If you care about the game that much, why would you want to get rid of any of it? Right? Why would you want to do that? And to Taco and Ranch, if you let's just say, for the sake of argument, let's blame James for all of this, right? Let's say LeBron James, this is all his fault. He's the reason why the league is soft. He's the reason why guys don't want to compete. He's the reason why guys don't want to play anymore. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, that that's the case, and let's get rid of James. Then what happens? To ask you the question, Taco, what happens if all of that happens? We're gonna blame LeBron. This whole thing is your fault. You're the reason why guys are soft. You're the reason why the league is what it is. You are the face of the league. You won't compete. You won't do anything. So because you won't do this, and James goes, you know what? Okay, fine. I'm just gonna leave. Will the league become much better? And how much better would the league become if that's the case, in your estimation, Taco?
Well, that argument is he changed their mentality, and so now it's too late, because although let's be fair to the LeBron haters, what he did was wrong. He knew he wasn't going to play.
He knew
he wasn't playing. He should have. He should have bowed out and let Domantas Sabonis or who else am I thinking?
Let's see, Sabonis,
Norman Powell,
Powell. There's a bunch of different guys,
yeah, who should have been all-stars, but because of whatever reason.
Sure.
Can I go back to who should be all-stars, by the way, for a second?
Yes.
You know how the fans vote the starting five, and then the coaches pick the seven reserves? Is it seven reserves?
Mm-hmm.
I think they should flip it.
You think that the coaches in the media should pick the starting five, and the fans
starters, because they'll put hopefully they'll pick the best five. Like give them a mandate that you need to pick the best five, like a lineup, the best starting five for an all-star game, right? Yeah. Here's the five, and then the fans, and everyone's like, well, but then the fans get more. The fans get to pick 7 or 8, whatever it is. But there's 12 players, I think. So the fans will actually get more. I didn't do that. Did you do that?
I didn't do that. What happened?
You didn't do that? That was there's ghosts in the machine. What
happened? Mm-hmm.
7, they get to pick 7. So now now the fans get to pick more of the players that they want to see. Mm-hmm. Because then I think I just I think that, I don't know why, I just feel like that small thing, but I think that helps.
Yeah. I feel like if we allowed the fans, because again, I can't reiterate this enough. This is what All-Star Weekend is about: the fans and the fans only. That's what this is about. Being an All-Star game is about being an All-Star. It's about the fans. All-Star Weekend is about the fans. The skills competition, the dunk contest, the three-point contest, the All-Star game, all of that, the entire weekend, which was comprised in 1984 up until today, over 40 years ago. It's about the fans. So the fans should have the input that's necessary. What you're not going to tell me, right? What you're not going to tell me is, now we don't think that you should. We don't think that you should have that much input. Well, wait a minute. This isn't about you. This is about the fans. If the fans want to see Penny Hardaway in the All-Star game, if the fans want to see Magic Johnson, who hasn't played all year, who ended up being great in the All-Star game, that's who they should see.
But that's the thing, is it used to be the fans had 100% of the vote of the starting five. And I think now it's down to 50%. Players get 50%, media gets 50%, or 25, sorry, 50, 25, 25, because 50, 50, 50 would make sense. 50, 25, 25. So what I'm saying is, let the media and the players and whatever vote the starting five, and let the fans 100% pick the 7 other people that they want to see. Because then I don't care that a group of guys got together and put Jaja Pachulia in the All-Star game because he's a reserve. So I don't care.
I want to see. This is who you guys want to see.
Look, if they do something janky like that, I don't care, because he's one reserved, one guy, because they can't put a bunch in. So they put one guy in. Big deal. I could even veto one guy if I really want to be a jerk.
When I think about the All-Star game and the magnitude of the All-Star game, Tone, I feel like it means something to be that, right? And if you have one-time All-Star, to your point, I don't know, Isaiah Hartenstein, like, he's going to come to the All-Star game and be for real about it. He's not going to come to the All-Star game like, yo, I've been here for I've been here 8 times already. No, he's going to come here and he's going to, especially if the fans voted him. If the fans voted Isaiah Hartenstein as an All-Star, he's going to come to the All-Star game and be serious about being an All-Star. So I don't think that what happened over the weekend, I don't think that what happened over the weekend negates what the All-Star game is, because I don't think it was bad. I don't think it was terrible.
I don't think it was terrible. But like I said, I think everyone's calling for this to go back to the East-West and play.
I do want to see that, though, Tone. I do. I do
want to see it too. I'm just telling you, if it happens, we're not going to be happy with the outcome. That's all I'm saying, is we're not. So unless you can think of a way to make them compete in that game, I'd love to hear it. But that's my only concern. And Adam Jones, it doesn't matter if it's USA versus the world, East versus West. It doesn't matter.
That's the problem I'm having, though, Tone. That part right there, like, unless I can figure out how to get them to compete. Tone, this is basketball. Lace them up and let's go. Tone, you and I are 24 and 25 years old, and Tone, you on the books with the Cleveland Cavaliers for $27 million. I'm on the books with the Washington Wizards for $32 million, and you and I, our families go on vacation and all of that good stuff. Tone, when I see you in the All-Star game, I'm kicking your ass.
Yeah, but we have
I'm looking to kick your ass.
We have that mentality. I don't see that today. Again, I know I sound like this old, like you say, get off my lawn, old fuddy-duddy, but like, let's be honest. Do you see the majority? Look, there's one or two. Do you see the majority of All-Stars that are out there trying to kick the other guy's ass? Do you see it? Be honest. You were there.
No, I don't.
So that's the problem. Let's get away from the game for a second, and we'll get back to it in a second. So the skills competition, is that okay? Do we need to tweak that, other than the rule about you have to shoot instead?
You definitely have to shoot. I wanted to get back to, like, I'm not with this team thing. No. I'm not with this team thing. I want to get back to it being an actual competition of one-on-one guys. Like, if Anthony Edwards is in the skills competition and Devin Booker is in the skills competition, these two guys need to go at it. That's what I want it to be about. I want it to be about the competition more than a sideshow of, our two teammates, right? Hold on, let me answer this question. Taco, stop telling me about these guys playing harder at runs at UCLA. I'm trying to get better in the summertime, as opposed to playing in an All-Star game in the middle of the season. Those two things do not correlate. What are you talking about? Every day when I come to Rico Hines at UCLA, I'm working on my game to get better. I'm not working on my game at the All-Star game.
No.
Are you serious right now? No, those two things aren't even close to the same thing. I'm playing for a contract next season. I'm trying to crack the starting lineup. Those two things aren't even close to the same thing. So what are you talking about? You're talking about answer that. That's a dumb question. That question doesn't even make any sense. But back to what you were saying, Tone. So what I'm saying is, I want it to be an actual competition. And the reason why I want it to be a competition is because I feel like it means something to be able to
give him a title.
That's what I'm saying, man.
So I'm with you because what I was going to put them all together and say not all together but I'm saying my answer is all of them together. The skills, the 3-point competition, and the dunk off. One, you got to get the best 3-point shooters, the best dunkers, and the most.
Can we do that, please?
You got to get.
Can we do that?
You know what? It has to be mandatory. I'm sorry. If you can mandate them to go to media day or they get fined, then I think they have to do the same things with the skill competition, the dunk off, and the 3-point contest. Sorry, because with all due respect to Mac McClung, who's going to be on the show soon, I want to see him. Even if it is him, I want to see him competing against Ja and Ant and back in the day, LeBron. The fact that LeBron's never done one is actually sad. I want to see those guys there. And here's the thing. If the guy who wins the skills competition is crowned, I don't care. Give him a heavyweight belt that they can walk around with, right? That says the most skilled player in the NBA. The greatest 3-point shooter in the NBA, the best dunker in the NBA. No, you don't have this. I got that title. You want it? Come and get it from me. Create some of that.
That's where I'm going with the one-on-one thing, Tone. Like they talked about bringing in a one-on-one competition at the All-Star game, and the word is you get guys like Jordan Clarkson and I don't know. What's the kid's name that plays for Washington that was in Jordan Poole? You get guys like that. You get guys like that in a one-on-one competition. However, with those guys being in it, it would create exactly what you just said. I'm the best one-on-one player in the game. You ain't want to get in it. You know why you ain't want to get in it? Because you're scared. You're scared I'll bust your ass. That's why you didn't want to get in it. You scared I'll kick your ass. No, you won't kick my ass. Oh, your team ain't in the playoffs. Well, I'll tell you what. How about you and me, All-Star Weekend, you and me, we go at it. Ones, you and me. You and me, let's get it on. Now, I'm not a huge one-on-one guy, but I am a one-on-one guy. Let's be clear about that. I'm not a huge one-on-one guy, but I am a one-on-one guy.
Do you think, just let me ask you a question before you move on. Do you think the players would do that knowing that I believe, so this is just my belief, but knowing that a lot of the players don't enter the skills challenge, the dunk off, the 3-point competition. A lot of them don't enter it because they're scared of what will be said about them or the memes that will be created if they were to go and lose or not have a good showing. Like what if? Like, how do you know that? Not how do you know, but like, are you afraid of that happening?
No, I'm not, Tone. And here's why: because everything starts small, right? I feel like everything starts small. It starts with this guy, and it goes from this guy to this guy, and then next thing you know, I mean, Sam Walton started Walmart. Sam Walton started Walmart by getting in a competition with a friend of his, with a competitor of his. He found out because he was selling T-shirts. He found out through his competitor who his competitor's distributor was. He went to his competitor's distributor and bought all the T-shirts. So now that dude's out of business. That's how we start. That's how we get this thing started. It starts small and then it turns into something big. So you start the one-on-one competition with maybe Jordan Poole and Jordan Clarkson, or one of the lower level. I'm not even going to go as far as to say Kyrie Irving.
Well, if he walks in, he's not ducking any smoke, then call him out on it.
Irv is 100% in. Because he's a one-on-one guy. 100% Irv is 100%.
Okay.
And and the thing about Irv, which I'm very well aware, if Irv were to get in it and win it, to your point, Tone, get the belt. Here it is right here. I'm the best one-on-one player in the game. You don't think I am? Come, if you don't think that I am, come get it. Now, there are some people who will go, yo, that all-star thing, we all know that blank is the best one-on-one player again. No, we don't. No, we don't know that. No, we don't know that. No, what we do know is
I would put, listen, these guys are counting week player of the week in accolades. I would put that 2024 best three-point shooter in the NBA, best dunker in the NBA, best one-on-one player in the NBA. Because listen, not to pick on your boy, but he did come out and say, "Oh, I don't do ones. Why are we talking about ones? We play 5-on-5." Meanwhile, I've seen him playing ones against AD, against Michael Beasley. I thought he didn't play ones.
James is first and foremost, Tone. Tone, how many times have you told me or shown me? I mean, I'm a James guy. Anybody knows me knows that I'm a James guy. But I mean, I don't take everything that he says to heart. No, James, one of the best one-on-one players in NBA history. 100% he is. Give me a break. He's one of the best one-on-one players in the game. He's at an age now where it doesn't make sense to do it because of off the strength that.
Okay, then just say I'm of the age that I'm not doing that anymore.
I'm too old for this, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like the dunk contest. I'm too old for that. Now, if you asked me 10 years ago, if you asked me 12 years ago, yes, I probably would have done it. But now, I just feel like I feel like if you got lower level guys, which you would, Tone, you would get lower level guys to sign up for this. And you getting these lower level guys to sign up for it, that would be the buzz. The buzz would be to get these lower level guys to sign up. Once they signed up, and we had guys like Colin Sexton winning the one-on-one competition, or Jordan Poole winning the one-on-one competition, and actually having the belt. I am the one-on-one champ, just like I'm the dunk champ. The next year, like Jordan got to come back and defend the dunk championship. Next year, Damian Lillard has to come back and defend the three-point competition. Jamal Murray has to come back next year and defend being the one-on-one champ. And then it becomes a buzz, because if I beat Jamal Murray, guess what? I'm the guy now. And not only am I the guy, Tone, who else won it with me? Which one of y'all won it?
Well, I know someone who wants it with you. So he saw your highlights and he said his defense is on point now. He's going to lock you up.
You think so, young fella? Nephew, let me tell you something.
How'd you like his fade? His post fade. It's pretty good.
Yeah, that not guardable.
Not guardable. You have to speak up. It's not guardable?
Yeah, the rest I could guard.
The rest you guard? Okay, go to bed. I think you need to let me know. Okay, but let me get back to my show. Love you, bro. We've been hijacked.
We gotta put nephew on the payroll. Yes, we do.
I'm gonna put on my headphones.
100% gotta put nephew on the payroll. Tone, I feel like I think that's one thing that can enhance All-Star Weekend, like having this, like to change it up just a little bit. No question about that. But the skills competition, right? The skills competition.
I like that idea. Just no more teams. The teams thing was gimmicky because if you remember, they used to do, wasn't it like an old time player, a WNBA player, and an NBA player? Like they mixed it up at one point. Then they made the teams. No, I think it's skill is individual. I think dunk individual. Like we don't do in 3-point teams.
No,
right? Like no,
that's not the way that works.
I'm with that. Should you have to be an all-star to compete in those?
No.
I disagree.
No. Nope. Because some of the best dunkers in the league weren't.
Then you better who?
Okay, so for example, Jason Richardson wasn't an all-star.
They vote him in if you want to see him.
I mean, Zion said he would have got in it if he would have got voted in, but Zion is another one who I'm like being a dunk champ.
Let's be honest. You don't get voted into the All-Star game. You play an 82-game season. You're tired. You this, you that. Your kids miss you. Your wife misses you. All right, let's go to the beach. Cool. I'm going on vacation too.
Oh, dude.
Just think about it.
Now, here's the thing, Tom.
He's gonna force you left. Is that what's going on? I'm seeing out of the corner of my eye.
Forcing me left is not a good strategy. Don't do that. I'm really good with my weekend. I was really good with my weekend when I was a player. Yeah.
Oh, just Friday night I hit a game winner with my left. So
yeah, I could.
I still got it a little bit too. Yes. I was surprised. You know when you do it and you're like, oh, it went in.
No, I could use my left hand. No doubt about that. But Tone, to your point, when you're talking about you shouldn't be an all-star. I mean, you have to be an all-star. Tone, some of the better skilled guys in the game, whether they're one-on-one guys, whether they're three-point shooters, aren't all-stars. And because they aren't all-stars, that doesn't mean that they can't compete at that level.
Okay,
No.
okay. How about this? Why don't we let the fans, the players, the coaches, the media vote in for the 3-point contest and the dunk off? Since it's
no, see, I want to. This is what I want to do, Tone, because what I don't want to do is I don't want to force you to do it. Here's what I mean when I say I don't want to force you to do it. I don't want to make you do it more than you get nudged in a different way. So, like, for example, what Kyrie Irving was talking about, I want there to be Kyrie Irving is signing up for the dunk. He's signing up to be for the one-on-one competition. I want you to. I don't care if it's 3 guys that sign up for it, and 3 guys sign up for it, and we go ones with these 3 guys, and it turns out that Jamal Murray is better than Kyrie Irving, but Ja Morant is better than Jamal Murray, and he ends up winning it. And you know who Ja Morant is as a personality. Ja Morant is like, y'all know what time it is with me. So now what that turns into is nobody wants to sign up. None of y'all don't want to sign up because none of y'all don't want it with me. That's why. And now being a competitor,
that is a problem, though. Go ahead. Now being a competitor, go ahead.
And now being a competitor, oh, he think I'm scared of him? Yeah, where the list at? I'll get in it. Absolutely. Oh, he thinks that I'm scared of him? You think that I'm scared of you? Where's the list? Give me that pen. Yes, let's run it. Now, there are some people, if we're being honest, Tone, there are some people who have camps where it doesn't make sense to do this, right? It just doesn't make sense because of the amount of money that you make, the things that you could lose as a player, which that's the stuff that burns me because
if Luka loses to Jamal Murray in a 1v1, those Jordan Lucas might be coming off the shelf.
See, this is what I'm talking about, right? Right. And why is that? Why? But this is part of you don't stop buying Luka jerseys when they lose in the playoffs. You don't stop, but
don't you know great players lose because of their team and they win because of themselves.
Unbelievable, man. That's incredible right there. So, I
don't know if this is for you or for me, but mine's just genetics. I don't know.
Mine is too. My uncle is my uncle. That's my mother's brother. He's 70. He's 72. He's got a full head of hair. So, I mean, my pops is your age. He's 85, 86, 87, wow. 97, something like that. He's somewhere. Yeah. He always tells people he's older. He does what I do. Mm-hmm. He adds 10 years. So people tell me he looks good and a full head of hair. So I knew that I knew that. I knew that 10 years ago. I knew that I wasn't going to lose it. I knew it would be snow by the time I was in my 50s, that it would be mostly snow. So, because that's what I got from my it's in the genes. That's just what it is. So let me ask you a question, because I had another idea, and it's really out there, and I get that it's out there. If let's say we go back to the East-West, and we play, and the game sucks again. Yep. Would you be opposed to having, like, hey, these people are voted all-stars and they get like the ceremony and they get the credit and the accolade for it, but instead of having an all-star game, the main, I would still go with the skills challenge, the 3-point, the dunk off, the one-on-one, whatever, but the highlight game on Sunday night is the in-season tournament championship. And hear me out, because there's another part to this, because I think the in-season tournament, it worked in the first season, a little bit less in season 2, but my biggest complaint, as you'll recall, is I think the teams peak too early because they do try hard in the in-season tournament, and then there's that drop-off, right? What if we extended it, so made it longer? So instead of you play this game, it's like every weekend or every other weekend, the games on Saturday and Sundays are the in-season tournament games. And then the championship game was on All-Star weekend?
On All-Star weekend with the championship game.
I mean,
if the All-Star game doesn't work, like if you go back and it's just like, we can't figure it out, they're not playing.
Right. I feel like that's an idea, Tone. If I'm being honest with you, if we just extended it, and we extended the in-season tournament, where it was, because it couldn't be every weekend because that's not enough games. It would have to be like every.
Yeah, that's what I said. Like every other or once a
It
month.
would have to be every other weekend. Now, some pushback you would get is, the All-Star break is exactly that. It's a break. So the fact that the championship game doesn't count, that doesn't really make sense to us. So if we're going to do that, Tone, then that means that you got to make the All-Star game. I mean, you have to make the in-season tournament championship game count. You can't. So we now, if you're going to extend it, that means that now we have to put this on the books. Because I feel like all the other games are on the books. But if we're going to do that,
I think we're going to get a modeling gig. Okay, so go ahead. Sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to answer Tone's question here.
ESPN, we're available. We got suits. Don't worry.
I do have a suit.
Actually, sorry, ESPN. I have a suit jacket with a hoodie because that's what they all wear is the suit jacket with the hoodie underneath.
No, that still bugs me out. So,
good night, my love.
Hi, dear. How are you? You would have to make the in-season tournament championship game count.
Why?
This has to now. Well, here's the thing, Tony. If we're going to extend this, well, here's the thing: the All-Star game doesn't, and we're replacing the All-Star game. It hasn't been working. That's why it's dying. So, we're trying something new. And now you're making these guys play longer. And don't forget, Tone, there's a banner in the crypto.com arena. Yes, Tone. So the in-season tournament championship means something. So if
Shut your damn mouth.
I'm sorry, Tone. So if you're gonna extend this and you're gonna make this a bigger deal than what it is, and you want it to be on All-Star weekend, then instead of taking it, even though I'm not a fan of getting rid of the All-Star game, but if we're gonna do that, if the All-Star game doesn't work, and if we're gonna do that instead, what we have to do is we have to put the in-season tournament championship game on the books.
Fine, put it on the books. Put it on the books, and the two that play in it get to pick the last game of their season gets dropped off. I don't care, whatever.
That part I don't hate. That part I don't hate. Mm-mm.
All right. So in a nutshell, All-Star Weekend was okay. There's some room for improvement, but the game itself was a little bit better. We all want to see East-West play in an actual game, but it looks like the players want to do this kind of play to 30, play to 40, play to 50, which they want to have the ultimate pickup game.
Which is what it's supposed to be. That's what it's supposed to be. I looked forward to the All-Star game when I was a kid. I couldn't wait for the All-Star game on Sunday night. I couldn't.
And I will say, and I don't do this very often because he's rarely ever correct, but I will say I kind of do agree with one thing that KD's at least implying is that it's okay to criticize. We had a conversation and we can criticize what's going on or give ideas for improvements. But at the end of the day, you can't sit and shit on the weekend every single day and then say, why isn't anybody watching it? Because people do look to you for your opinions and insight. I'm talking to the cast of, where Chuck and those guys. You do got to talk about the highlights because there were some good things, right? There were some good things.
Yes, it was.
I who knew that Castle,
who I ran into, by the way. I ran into Stephon Castle at the NBA experience. That was dope. Tony, he's every bit of 6'6". There's nothing 6'3" or 6'4". He's a huge dude.
Yeah.
Yes. He is 6'6".
He can get up. That is
yes. Yes, sir.
So good for him. He impressed me in the dunk off. I think we didn't even see any highlights of the other dudes.
Yes.
I did also see your your NBA 2K cover.
Oh, that was so dope. They had this thing.
I joked with JD that team's going 0-82.
We're not winning, especially with me on the crew. We're not winning one game.
He said you were gonna carry them.
No, I'm not. We're not winning one game with me. It's not happening.
I said that team, Mars standing in the front with the ball. I said that team is so bad. You're going 0-82, and you're going to lose the lottery just cause.
We end up with the eighth pick or some nonsense like that.
You're not getting Cooper Flag, which so that was kind of cool. Yeah. So what would if you had to pick one thing, like what was the highlight of the weekend?
The one thing that was the highlight of the weekend. The performances, to be honest with you, Tone. It wasn't even the basketball because I don't think we saw enough basketball for me to say that there was one thing. I can't say that dunk contest. I can't say that the 3-point competition. No, I feel like the performances, the show, all of that other stuff. I don't think that it was.
You guys were at everything though, yeah.
We were, yeah, we were at a lot of the stuff. We didn't go to the All-Star game though. We did not do that. We weren't we weren't able to go to the All-Star game. So, but other than that, man, like I said, the NBA experience that was really dope. For me that was the highlight of the weekend for me. I really enjoyed going there. Yes, that was dope.
Well, you know what time it is now.
What time is it?
It's time for NBA headlines.
Uh-oh.
And we're starting with, you know how I feel about this, but I'm going to say nothing.
About what, Tom?
Draymond Green says the Warriors are going to win a championship. He thinks he is not. Because eventually he said he thinks he has changed his stance, and he said the Warriors are going to win the NBA championship.
I think
the Jimmy Butler effect.
I think all the heat goes to buckets, all of it. Tone, you and I had this conversation over the summer. You and I had this conversation before the season started, and I'm on record saying this. I didn't think that the Warriors were going to make the playoffs this year. I thought they were going to be a bad team. I didn't think that Steph Curry was going to be able to carry them deep into the season off the strength of how old he was, and that was working. That was actually going on. He wasn't able to do that. But now you add buckets to this roster. A lot of the other stuff that they have, they have it. I think, Tone, if I'm not mistaken, I think they got the second best bench production in the league. It's only I think Memphis is the only team that scores more points than them off the bench. They got a top 10 defense. They don't have a secondary scorer though. That's the problem. And now you add and now you add in Jimmy Butler. Yeah. You add in Jimmy Butler to this mix. What Draymond is essentially telling us is we got the missing piece in order for us to win the NBA championship. Not to make the playoffs, but to win the NBA championship. Draymond's been playing really good defense this season. His team's been really good defensively. They've actually been good on the glass. They get really good bench production. The difference is they only have one guy who's a bucket getter. That's Curry. Enter Jimmy Butler. So now you got two guys. I think it's a long shot, Tone. I don't think it's a shot. I think it's a long shot. I'd be surprised if they went deep into the playoffs. But I'm here for it. I am here for it because all the heat is now going to Jimmy Butler. If we don't win this, it's going to be because you couldn't deliver.
Do you remember at the beginning of the season, Jakob Poeltl said, and I'm paraphrasing, the Raptors, we're not competing for a title this year anyways.
He said that before the season started. He already knew it.
And what did I say? I said, just don't say anything.
Right.
Because if you're a part of an NBA team, your goal should be to win an NBA championship. That's what you're trying to do. That's why you're playing the games. Okay, let's all BS aside. That's what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
So say nothing, or say I think we're winning, or we're gonna win. Mm-hmm. I'm okay with that as a team mentality. Say nothing, or think that you're gonna win. So as much as I kind of poke fun sometimes at the things that Draymond says,
if it's delusional, Tone, even if we, well, again, it goes back to what we talked about with the one-on-one. Like if Jordan Poole wins the one-on-one competition at All-Star Weekend, does anybody really think Jordan Poole is the best one-on-one player in the game? But the fact that he has it and he said it, like it's something that like we have to recognize. Draymond Green says, "Yo, we winning the NBA championship." Well, we've seen him do it not once, not twice, not 3 times. We've seen him do it 4 times. We've seen him do it 4 times, right? So with them doing it 4 times, yeah. So with them doing it 4 times, for him to say we're winning the NBA championship, is it ridiculous to think? Is it ridiculous for him to say that? I don't think it's ridiculous for him to say that. That's not ridiculous. That's not ridiculous to say that.
Mm-hmm. NBA headlines. We're sticking with Draymond Green. Mm-hmm. Draymond says. Now I'm going to be completely opposite of what I just said. Draymond says he was offered the Warriors head coaching job after he retires.
That means that he's not getting traded then. That means that he's going to be there for the duration of his career. He's not going anywhere. And that also means that Steve Kerr is on his way out. That's what that means. Steve Kerr's not going to be with the Golden State Warriors that much longer. If you telling me that Draymond has been offered the head coach job when Steve Kerr retires, does that mean, one, that Draymond is going to move kind of like an Avery Johnson role when Avery Johnson played with the Mavericks, and then he slid into the assistant coach role and sat behind Don Nelson for a couple of years, and then he was able to take over as the head coach? I mean, are we looking at that kind of something like that? Because again, he's played for Steve Kerr since 2014, 2015. So he's been with him for over 10 years, and to be an assistant coach underneath him, because I don't think that, if we're being honest, I don't think that Draymond is going to go from being a player to Steve Kerr just stepping aside and letting him coach. No, I don't think that's going to happen.
You don't think like what's going to happen in San Antonio, where Chris Paul is playing there this year and he's coaching next year?
No, I don't think that's going to happen.
When I first saw this, I immediately thought,
that's suspicious. That's weird.
Because what makes anyone think Draymond Green would even be a capable coach? And it's not about knowledge of the game. It's about personality. You punched a teammate in the face.
On camera, by the way.
2 years ago. It wasn't 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It was 2 years ago.
Right. On camera.
Is there any player that has punched a teammate in the face that has been a head coach?
Not that I know of. Not that I know of. I mean, it might have been under wraps. Now, remember too, Tone, it's not just the personality, because I feel like Draymond could be, I think he could be a player's coach. I do think that, but there's a lot more that goes into coaching. A lot more. There's preparation, there's strategy, there's schemes, and a wise man once told me, smart people hire smarter people than them. And for Draymond to have a staff, let's just say, right? Draymond has a staff. Draymond is one of those guys who doesn't strike me as somebody who was looking to have somebody around him smarter than him. Because Draymond, he's one of them dudes who thinks he's the smartest guy in the room.
And if you ever are the smartest guy in the room, just a little piece of advice, you're in the wrong room. Yeah, so this is delusional. And also, why would they ever say that, hey, like, because it's not like he said they talked about me. He said, and I quote, he was offered the Warriors head coaching job. So you're telling me the GM or the owner of the Warriors said to you,
to your face, by the way,
you want me to believe that the owner said to you, when you retire, I would like to offer you the head coaching position. I want you to retire a Warrior. First of all, that's the first step, and then become our head coach.
No.
Not an assistant coach and learn and move up through the ranks. No. He didn't say any of that, like you said, like Avery Johnson. No. He said, you retire, head coach. Ain't no way, ain't no chance, ain't no how.
We do not care.
I'm not buying that, Tone.
Next up, this is a good one. You don't know about this one. But this is one I wanted to ask you about because, I have a little, my passion for marketing. So, NBA headline. Bol isn't being talked about because he isn't as marketable as Wemby.
Yes, he is.
Because as a starter, he's putting up, with the exception of maybe points per game, he's putting up better numbers.
18, 14, 4 blocks as a starter. How many games has he started? That's first of all.
It doesn't matter.
He only started one game and he did that in one game.
Why do you think that's all 0.0?
Yeah, that's what I'm just if he only started one game, then that's one game. And on top of that, if he started one game, he should be, if he did that in the one game he started, he should be starting, period.
I was told by a marketing person that works for the NBA, they're pushing Wemby because he's pretty, and they ain't talking about Bol because he ain't.
Well, Charles Barkley wasn't exactly easy to look at, but Charles had a personality, and it's plenty of guys that have that kind of personality. I think Bol more than anything, I think it's his motor, because I often wonder why doesn't he play more? What's the problem with him? Because I see the skill set there. I remember him at the University of Oregon. I heard some things about him in NBA meetings before the draft that weren't very favorable for him. I did hear those things, but when he gets on the court for the limited time that he's on the court, he is productive. The question is can he keep that motor? Can he keep playing? And I don't think so. I think that's the problem with him. I think that he's one of those guys that he'll give you this right here, and then tomorrow he'll give you a little bit more of this, and then I won't see any more of it, and then that's it. But then I'll get back to it, so I don't know.
Pat Riley's going big game hunting.
Mm-hmm.
Pat Riley says he's looking for a whale.
Mm-hmm.
The idea is Ja Morant, Kevin Durant, who we're going to get to Ja in a second, but whose both names have been talked about in trade rumors or that they were going to not be with their same team next year.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think Pat Riley is, if he is talking about someone specific, who is that person?
I think it's Anthony Edwards. I think that's his guy, Tone. I think Anthony Edwards is his guy that he's after.
How the hell is he going to get Anthony Edwards? They wouldn't give him up for Luka.
Yeah, I think that's the guy he wants. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Anthony Edwards. What I don't want to do, Tone, is I don't want to give you false information. So I want to make sure that I give you the correct information here because
while you look that up, Woodage says he said whale.
Mm-hmm.
I think
yes. So I'm looking at. So Anthony Edwards is on the books until 2029.
2029. So he's not. He gets traded.
He's not going anywhere. He just signed an extension not this summer that just passed, but in the summer of 23, he just signed an extension. And I think that Riley is one of Coach Riles is one of those guys. He plays on what you want. That's how he got James. And what I like to call it, Tone, is I like to call it the devil's den. Like when you go into the devil's den, you're gonna come out with what you want. Because that's just who Pat Riley is. Pat Riley is one of those guys where he finds out who you are, he finds out what you want, and he's gonna get it. Now the question is at what price? Like what is it gonna cost? What is it gonna cost to get Anthony Edwards to South Beach? How much is it going to cost to get Anthony Edwards to South Beach?
It will cost so much that you wouldn't have a team worth him playing on.
It might be that very well could be the case, Tone.
Because the first name is well, you're going to have to give up Bam.
Yep. You're not keeping Bam and
not keeping Bam
and getting Anthony Edwards. No, you're not.
And then there's going to be another player or two. And then we're talking about picks.
Now, remember, Tone.
So if you want a team that's based around Tyler Hero and Ant, how did you get better?
Well, that's the thing that I was about to say, Tone. I think that Tyler Hero's having a great year this year. There's some people, some media members that I've spoken with who think that Tyler Hero's going to make the All-Pro team this year. Well, with him making the All-Pro team this year, that means that he's eligible because his contract is up after next season. He makes the All-Pro team this year. His contract is up after next season. He's eligible for the Supermax, so that's $350 million. Riles is not paying Tyler Hero $350 million. He's not doing that.
No one should pay Tyler Hero $350 million.
No.
That's ridiculous.
He's not paying Tyler Hero He's not paying Tyler Hero $350 million. So the question is what would Riles be willing to give up to get Anthony Edwards in South Beach? And if you look at what's going on in Minnesota is notoriously what, Tone? Cheap. Notoriously cheap. So with them being notoriously cheap, and they got guys who, are coming off the books or guys who are up for contracts, you already saw what they did with Cat. Cat signed that contract extension. They immediately moved off of him off the strength of what kind of money he was making. Well, is it ridiculous to think that if Pat Riley dangled Tyler Hero, if he dangled Tyler Hero, if he dangled the big kid Ware and a couple of first-round picks, because Rudy's on his way out. I mean, I think Rudy's got 2 more years before it's time to start to look in another direction.
Julius Randle's not going to be there.
I don't think To be honest with you, I'm actually the reason why he made it past the deadline was because he got hurt. I thought he was going to get traded at the deadline. I did. I thought he was going to get traded at the deadline.
Yeah.
So with that being said, Raul's going big game hunting. I think Anthony Edwards. I'm not going to rule out Luka neither, Tone. I mean, everybody's wrapped up in Luka going to the Lakers, and this is already a foregone conclusion. Luka is going to sign. He's going to re-sign with the Lakers. I'm not totally sure. I'm one of these
Lakers traded for Luka, and he's going to go somewhere else.
Well, remember, Tone, he comes off the books really soon, and with him coming off the books, Rouse is one of those people who, can I get him in a room? If I could get him in a room, and I could talk to him, I got a shot.
So you're saying anything is possible?
If I could get him in a room and I can sit down with him, yes. Wow. And I can tell you right now, the Lakers, and I think that Luka is going to re-sign with the Lakers. But the last thing the Lakers want, Tone, is for Pat Riley to get Luka in a room with Luka and him. They don't want that.
If the Lakers don't re-sign Luka,
oh my God,
it will have gone from fire Nico Harris to kill Rob Pelinka.
It might be,
because you just traded Max Christie and AD and a first-round pick for nothing, for half a season.
And James is going to be gone too.
Well, yeah, at some point, like when he turns 50, like
James is going to be gone too. So
can we sidebar for a second?
Yes, sir.
You just made the list.
I think it is ridiculous, ridiculous that they kicked a person out of a stadium, a paying customer, for a sign that said "Fire Nico." It didn't say "Kill Nico." It didn't say "Death to Nico." It didn't say "Nico
sucks." Nico's awful.
Fire Nico.
F Nico. It just said fire him.
It was clean. It wasn't vulgar. Now, unless there was something else he was doing that I don't know about. But if it was strictly as I've heard, just for that sign, that's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. And just sidebar.
Well, let me ask you this, Tom, because we've seen. I remember when Shaq was playing with the Heat, and there were people in the arena with signs, trade Walker, trade Antoine Walker. They didn't get kicked out of the arena. So now remember, also on the flip side to that, I think there's a level to talking about management. Don't forget, I watched security drag Charles Oakley out of the arena, which is one of the worst things one of the worst things that I've ever seen.
Yeah, but we all know James Dolan's an idiot.
Yeah, he's a complete and utter idiot. Yes, 100% he is that. You'll never get an argument out of me. That was no way to treat Oakley. None.
Or no me, for that matter. He got a great offer and he didn't hire me. We're sticking with the trades. NBA executives believe the Grizzlies could potentially look to move Ja this summer. I'm consistently checking in with executives around the trade deadline. Ja on the move?
Well, I think what happened with Luka is Luka basically kicked open the door that nobody's safe. Tone, you said this to me probably a year ago, and I scoffed at it when you said to me, Jay, anybody can be moved. It doesn't make a difference who it is. Anybody can be moved. And I'm thinking to myself, no, they can't, Tone. No, they can't. But if you call up the right executive and check their temperature on whomever and the right price, this person is getting moved. And what happened with Luka is Luka kicked the door open that nobody is safe. If Luka can be traded, anybody can be traded at any point. At any point. And if you look at what's going on with Memphis, I think they played 54 games. I think they played 55 games this year. Ja has only played in 32 of them. He's had a shoulder injury. His scoring has gone down 5 points this year. They've actually won with him out of the lineup, and with them winning with him out, not last year because everybody was hurt, but the year before that, when in 22 when he turned his ankle, and they were like 19-2 with him out of the lineup. There may be a shift, Tone, where Memphis is thinking maybe Jaren Jackson is the guy we should be building this unit around. Maybe we can upgrade at the lead guard spot and get something for Ja Morant while he still has some value. Because, I mean, I think he's in year 6. And you know how I feel, Tone, about by year 5, this is probably who this guy is. And I think in year 5, Ja's 25 and I want to say 7. That's probably him, Tone. If I'm being honest with you, that's probably him. He's probably 23 to 25, 5 to 7 assists. That's probably who Ja is. That's now you're probably going to get a guy who plays a little bit slower, thinks the game a little bit more, maybe a better distributor, maybe a better playmaker. But what I seen in year 5, 25, 7, 23 to 25, that's probably who he is. With that being said,
don't forget, Memphis is not a big market.
No, it is not.
And he's on the books the next 3 seasons for $126 million.
Yes, which is over $40 million a season.
It averages out to about 42.
Yep, over $42 million a season. And it gets expensive when you're trying to win. And I look at that group, and I wouldn't be surprised if Memphis said, because that's what happened in Dallas. Me and Tony, you and I had this conversation. That's exactly what happened in Dallas, where they looked at Luka and said, this is probably as far as we're going to go with him. We're not winning it with him. Now, they may see Ja in Memphis as this high wire act, but there may be some people who are looking at this going, this isn't really sustainable. Like, how many more years do we have of him at this level? Maybe 3, because he's in, like I said, he's in year 6, right? He's in year 6. He's already, I mean, he's having I think he's 21 and 8 this year. With him being 21 and 8, only playing 32 games, how many games am I going to get out of him a season? Am I going to get 60 games? Am I going to get 65 games? I don't know. He gets hurt this summer, Tone. I would not be surprised. And I call it on draft night, I call it check day. I would not be surprised on check day if some people called up, hey, how you feeling about Ja? How you feel about Ja today? And would you ever? Because that's where the whole thing always starts, Tone. Would you ever?
Would you ever?
Yeah. Would you ever? Because once you hear would you ever, and hey, Tone, would you ever think about moving off of?
I've always said I've only been fortunate enough to be in 2 conversations listening in. Mm-hmm. And the question was, and I hope I worded exactly. I know that you wouldn't, but if you were to consider moving on from, what would that look like? And the reason I ask is I'm thinking of shaking things up on my end, and I just want to get a temperature check from you. So it was worded so perfectly that it was like, I'm thinking of doing something. I just kind of want to see what that world would look like from a more experienced guy. And
You're probably not interested. You're probably not interested.
I'm not, but that's your best player. So I'm clearly thinking, right? Basically what you're saying is I'm thinking of moving my best player.
Right.
What should I be asking for? And now the guard comes down and they're like, well,
if it was me.
If it was me, I would do that. So like you're saying, so if I offered you job might be on the table. Yeah, maybe. Okay, interesting. And then you let it go. And then the next lunch, you're like, I haven't stopped thinking about it. Is it crazy, like, to talk trade like that one that I know it was hypothetical, but really? And then
Tom, what if I told you that, to give up Ja, I gave you Darius Garland and I threw in 4 1s. I mean, what does that look like for you?
Yeah, right. Like there's a conversation.
See, now we're talking, right? See, now we're having we got some dialogue going. Now remember too, Tone, and you being a businessman, ladies and gentlemen at home, I implore you to understand my man Tone over here. He's a businessman, and he knows how important anonymity is. He knows how important being the hell quiet is. He knows that. So if this got out that he was talking about shopping Ja, this becomes a huge problem.
If I could get a lead guard who clearly wasn't as good, but if I could get a lead guard in the 80 million range and maybe a big at 40 and have to give you a few and get a couple first round picks, I kind of even out my roster a little bit and I take care of the future.
Well, here's the thing. So what I don't want to do is, I don't want to push you over the edge. I'm just checking your temperature. would 4-1s work? Is that something that you would be interested in?
I think we have to start there.
Okay, so 4-1s, and you like my lead guard in Darius.
I like the lead guard, and you do have a lot of bigs.
I do. I do. I got that because I know how you feel about your.
I don't know. I don't want the one you'd like the best, and I clearly don't want the worst. Who's one of the middle ones that you could see living without? I think we might have a deal.
I could come off of Dean Wade. Yeah, I could come off of Dean Wade. I could come off of Ty Jerome. I could come off of him.
You give me one of them 4-1s and Garland. I think Jaws in Cleveland. There we go.
We got a deal. And just so, and ladies and gentlemen at home, just so you know, this is a conversation. This didn't just happen like in 15 minutes. This has been going on. This has been going on for quite a while. Like every time I see Tone, how you been? What's going on? Hey man, I was thinking about what you said.
He's always paying for lunch. That's why. That's how.
100%. I got it. Yeah, I got it. Check, please. I got it. And yeah, I was Tone. I was wondering how you was feeling about what we was talking about a couple of days ago. I mean, what are you thinking? So I'm, now next thing I know, we got a deal.
Ox, you came in late, bro. Like it was a hypothetical. I don't think Cleveland's the right fit, but
no.
Yeah, no, that's not where it's going.
We're just throwing somebody out there. That's all it was, big fella. We're just throwing somebody out there.
But a deal like that, where you have a bona fide lead guard who isn't a fringe starter, who's a starter in this league with another big, and the ones, I think they're at least having the conversation, because to your point, there's been injuries. There's clearly some off the court stuff in the past, mind you. But still, those things. And it's a small market, and small markets will look and say, well, if I'm going to have to re-sign this guy, I'm going to have to re-sign that guy. I'm paying 100. Yeah. It's not the Cleveland. We're agreeing. It's not Cleveland.
Or is it? Are we sure it's not the Cleveland? Are we sure? Because let's stop talking. Let's stop talking like giving up John Morant for Darius Garland is ridiculous.
No,
there's a two-time All-Star who's on the books for a little bit of money.
This isn't on the books for us to talk about. I think Cleveland is going to challenge the Celtics in the East this season.
Yes, I do too.
And if they make it to the finals, they're not making that move. Now, if they get knocked out in the second round, this conversation might happen. They might want to shake things up a little bit. But that being said, like that, I'm saying it's that type of conversation of here's a bona fide lead guard who's a starter in this league, a kind of could be starter, could be like a great role player, big, a bunch of first round picks. And now you're having that conversation. To my point, Memphis is sitting there going, hey, we got to pay this guy, that guy. We got him on the books for $126 million. He's had the off the court stuff. He's has some injury issues. We love him. He's great. He's exciting. He's fantastic.
Yeah.
But is he the guy that's going to get us? Because for us to be really successful and really profitable, because that's the other thing that people don't pay attention to, we might have to move on from him. Yeah. They traded Luka, so we won't look crazy trading Ja now. Like you said, it opened up the doors for anyone to trade anyone because they traded Luka in his prime.
That's what, and I can't say enough, Tone, when you first brought this to me about how anybody can be moved. How ridiculous I thought that was. I'm like, yo, Milwaukee is not trading Giannis. Dallas is not trading Luka. It's not happening. No, that is not going on. Only to find out that, yes, it is. 100% it is.
Milwaukee would have already traded Luka. Milwaukee would have already traded Giannis if he wasn't so open about, I'm here, I'm loyal, I'm signing my extension, I'm staying.
Yes.
If he said nothing and left them to wonder, he would have been traded, because the last thing they want to do now, every GM that you talk to will tell you the same thing.
Yep.
I will not be that guy who lets my best player walk for nothing. I can't, because then I lose my job.
Yeah.
So I think this offseason, much like this trade deadline, is going to be busier than we've seen in a long time.
Since you're on that subject, Tone, you talked about it being busier. Can you give me some guys, in your estimation, that you think would be moved this summer? Because remember, Luka kicked open the door. Luka kicked open the door for any and everybody to be on the table. I mean, to give you an idea, Tom, I don't think LaMelo Ball's in Charlotte after this summer. I think he's gone.
No, I think LaMelo's gone. I think Zion finally gets moved. I don't know how big of a name. I think Joel Embiid is gone. I think I go lower. I think you're going to see a Siakam gone. I think I already said Julius
Stop
Randle.
right there. Wait. Go rewind, Tone. Go back. I was thinking that. I actually wanted to have that conversation, and I'm so glad you brought that up because I feel like Indiana. I feel like they're on to something in Indiana. They ended up signing Siakam to the max, right? They ended up signing Siakam to the max, which is so dope. But they're a team right now. They're a top 5 seed in the East, and they're trying to make some noise. And to be honest with you, I don't know how far away they are. I don't think that they're relatively close to winning it. But last year with them in the East Finals, I'm thinking to myself, am I going to have to talk about the Indiana Pacers winning the NBA championship? They're much healthier this year. With them being healthier, Siakam has been playing great. He's an all-star. They're playing faster. The defense has been better. What's the incentive? Because when we talked about Ja, my first thought was, does Siakam get moved? Do they just scrap the plan in Indiana? And then when you brought that up, I'm thinking, nah, Tone, they wouldn't do that. They couldn't do that.
I keep hearing his name, so I can't. That's what I'm saying. He could look. It's the right deal has to come along, but I think he's on the move. I think Kevin Durant. I think 100% he's out of Phoenix.
100%.
Yeah, I to your point, if a deal is to be made, one of Bam or Tyler Hero is going to be out of Miami, which means someone as big is going to go there. So yeah, I think you're going to see. I don't know if Julius Randle's off the books, right?
Well, he's got a player option this summer.
He's got a player option. If he doesn't take his option, he's out. Even if he takes his option, I think it hasn't worked. So I think you're going to see a lot of movement. I would say. Yeah, I would really, really be surprised if Joel Embiid is a Sixer next year.
And you, Tone, I want you to put your GM hat on for a second because you being the businessman that you are, this Celtic team, these contracts start to kick in. They don't win the NBA championship this year. Don't forget, they got Jaylen Brown on the books for $300 million. Jason Tatum just re-upped. Drew Holiday, KP, they just re-upped. Derek White. They just re-upped Pritchard. Everybody's on the books, Tone. Everybody. And nobody is coming off the books. And I think that next year they go into that second apron. And you've already made it clear to me that being in that second apron is almost hell. Because your flexibility with the second apron is almost nothing.
Yeah, you can't sign anybody. You can't trade more than one player at a time. You don't have the 10% kind of whatever. So on the books, they're on the books for $196 million this year. They lose Al Horford, no big deal. Luke Cornett, Torrey Craig, J.D. Davison, Drew Peterson, and Anton Watson all come off the books. So 1, 2, 6 guys come off the books, and they go from 196 to 223.
Yikes! So
the good news is. Or bad news is, okay, they're going to have to find a big somewhere because Al Horford and Luke Cornett do take up some minutes there. Torrey Craig is an interesting one. I like Torrey Craig. The rest of the guys are just fillers anyways. They're minimum guys. The year after,
oh boy,
they're going to have to re-up if they want Kristaps. So that's going to be a big one. And then Xavier Tillman. So they'll be at $200 million before paying Kristaps. So he's already making 30. So let's assume he doesn't ask for more money and keeps another 30. So they're going to be at 230 again.
Yep.
They're heading into the 250 range. So there's going to be some luxury. Where it's really dangerous is actually the year after that. Because that's
showing year 3. So 3 years from now, not next season or the season. So in the third season is what we're talking about.
Yeah, not next season. Yes, because that season, that's when the $60 million hits for Jalen.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so that one's gonna be, they're at $120 million with 2 guys.
Just 2 of them.
Just
And the
two.
salary cap is probably something like 165 or 170.
Now the good news is the bigger money would have kicked in for the TV deal, so the salary cap will go up. But they're gonna get it. What they're gonna end up getting into is you better win your chips now,
right?
Like Golden State. Remember I told you Golden State's gonna get to that point, and at that point, what happened? Well, the GM bounced, and then the bunch of players bounced, and no, look, they were still able to win one more, bringing in Wiggins. But
I'm laughing. I'm laughing because Tone told me that it was the Titanic. Those was his exact words.
Yeah.
That's what he said Bob Myers was. Bob Myers was a passenger on the Titanic. Keep going, Tone.
so in that year that I'm talking about, so the 27-28, 61 for Brown, 62.7 for Tatum, 37.2 for Drew. I think it's a player option, but he's taken 37.2.
Yes,
you're going to have whatever Kristaps is making, call it 40. So you're at 160. You're at 200 with four guys.
We're already at 200.
You're at 200 with four guys.
Yikes.
Right. On the books for that season, okay, there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 that would be under contract. They're at 213 million.
No, that's not sustainable, Tom.
It's not long-term sustainable. It is Boston. I get it. But they better win 2 more out of the next 3 because they're going to be in trouble.
Yes. And you
don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if you see, Brown or Tatum. I think Brown would be the obvious one. Moved.
When you brought up just recently, because I wasn't even thinking 3 years down the road. I was thinking just within the next calendar year, because Porzingis comes off the books after next year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's the one that's going to make.
And like you just mentioned, Tone, I'm not a huge fan of letting guys walk out the front door. There is the idea of addition by subtraction. Danny Ainge did it with Kyrie Irving, where he let him walk out the front door, even though I didn't agree with it, because I can't let Kyrie Irving walk out the front door. I got to get something for him. I can't. But with that being said, I feel like Kristaps could be a cap casualty. I do. I feel like Kristaps could be a cap casualty where they end up moving off of him to save some money.
Now, here's the one good thing. Because these teams, if they're smart, if you can't trade them and you keep their bird rights, right? Teams have made good financial decisions by letting them walk and doing a sign and trade.
Yep.
If you think about it, it actually was stupid of Miami. But when Miami traded for LeBron James, because everyone thinks he signed as a free agent because of the decision, but he technically didn't. I don't even know why I say technically. He did it. Forget it. He was traded.
It was like the worst trade in NBA history, by the way, Tony.
They got 5 first-round picks and a player. So they got a lot because the other team needed the cap flexibility. They couldn't sign him to the amount of money. Like, as long as you understand the cap rules, which are super overly complicated for no reason sometimes.
I still don't understand them.
If I understand them 80%, and I feel like there's a million things I don't know. And I I research like the aprons and all that kind of stuff. I love that stuff. And
you educate me on it.
And I feel like I still don't know enough. That being said, if I'm familiar, like if you're smart and you keep the bird right, because that's the big thing. What happened with Luka when he got traded? He doesn't get his bird rights, or the Lakers don't get his bird rights. So he loses out on like $116, $117 million.
Yep.
That's huge, right? It's not, so if they do want to say, hey, we just can't, we're at 200 million without Kristaps,
right?
And say, but hey, whoever wants to sign him, we'll help you out so he can get the money that he wants and this and that. Just flip us a pick here or that player there. Yeah, they could kind of retool a little bit, maybe. Dumber thing, like crazier things have happened. Like people always ask, like, how did this team get? Like, how did the Lakers get? James Worthy? Well, because 2 years earlier they made a smart trade for a draft pick, and it, timing was good, and there you have it. Like, how did the Celtics get Bird? Like, you got to be smart with this stuff, and most guys aren't.
Shout out to Don Hudson, by the way.
Do we have any more? Oh, we do. Oh, we have one. Oh, how could I forget this one? It's like this is like your favorite thing.
My favorite thing. Yeah.
Maybe it's an oldie but a goodie. Michael Jordan on being called the GOAT. This was from an interview he did with Cigar Aficionado. When I hear it being called the GOAT, I cringe a little bit because it's a little bit embarrassing because no one knows. I never had the chance to play against those guys.
Tone, like we never have a problem because we live in the world we live in today. It's so easy to hear everything and see everything. But there was a time when everything wasn't as accessible. We didn't have a problem with Muhammad Ali saying, "I must be the greatest." We didn't have a problem with that. In fact, we applauded it. You can't be that good. Not only can you not be that good, you can't be that good and be that without being egotistical. I am 100% confident. I'm not 80. I'm not 90. I am 100% confident. In confidence, whether he was sitting around with his boys, whether he was sitting around with his folks, he said, "I'm the best to ever do it." I am certain that he said that. Why? Because he sees the others and he understands the competition. He's seen Jerry West. He's seen what Jerry West looks like. He can say, I never played against Jerry West, but I'm sure he's looked at Jerry West and go, "I'll bust Jerry West's ass." I'm sure he's seen that.
But I think there's a difference between, like, I think I'm better than you. I think, one-on-one, I would beat you, and saying you're the greatest, because even Muhammad Ali, that was part of his bravado while he was fighting. I am the greatest. I am the greatest. But he never said he was the greatest of all time. In fact, and I've told you this, one of the greatest moments of my life was meeting him and him telling me he'd lose to Mike Tyson, which I don't believe for a second, by the way. But he was humble in his later years to say, "Oh no, there's guys that I would lose to."
Yep.
And so I think that's the thing about Jordan. I would assume, to your point, 100% of the time when he walked on the court, he thought he was the best player. Right? That's right. Like, even Charles Barkley said, "I never thought until that 93 final, I never thought there was a player better than me until Jordan bust my ass." And I was like,
sure.
And then even then he said, "There might be someone better than me." Might.
Right.
You have to be that good. You have to have that mentality. The difference is Muhammad Ali being an individual sport, saying, "I'm the greatest, I'm going to beat you," because that was an intimidation thing.
Sure.
It's different than someone coming on saying, "I'm the greatest of all time," or let's be honest, "This moment made me the greatest of all time."
Right. That's why I feel like, to your point, I feel like Jordan has done that quietly. We just saw it on tape with James. I feel like
Maybe.
For example, when they beat Phoenix for the third championship in a row, and he had done what he had done up until that point, I feel confident that Jordan may have said to his father, "I'm the baddest to ever do it." His father probably said to him, "You the best to ever do it." And he probably was like, "Yeah, I am the best to ever do it." I'm confident that after he beat Magic,
I know what he actually said in public, though. He said, "I've achieved everything I've needed to."
Right.
Yes,
there's nothing.
I believe he probably said, "Because I'm the greatest.
I'm the best to ever do it. I don't need. What else do I need to do? I'm better than all of you dudes." But he's not going to say that out loud. And the reason why I struggle with this kind of stuff is because, as good as you are as an athlete, as awesome as you are as a player, you can't sell me that on any level. You might not get in front of the cameras and say, "Yo, I'm the GOAT. I'm the best ever." Remember the scene that James was in? James is sitting around with his buddies. It just so happened to be a camera there.
He knew that, but he's not stupid. He knows there was a camera there.
100%. But it helped that he was sitting around with his buddies. I don't think that he would have said that but then I can't say that because he said that in the post-game interview when they were playing against the Warriors in the finals. "I'm the best player in the world." He did say that, which
I'm okay with that.
I don't have a problem with that neither.
I'm okay with that 100%. To say you're the greatest ever, though, I wouldn't do it. I get it. I get it. I even say him saying I'm the greatest ever. Him saying because I beat this team and won a title made it so individual, like he was the only reason they won.
Right.
And winning a title makes you the best when we know. I've
What
told you
it
many
took to
times.
do it.
Anyone who says 6-0, right? That's why you're the beta. Like then you don't understand how sports works, right? I don't like when anything is marginalized to one thing. Being 6-0 makes you the greatest. Being the all-time scoring leader makes you the greatest. Being any one thing, any winning that series against the 73-9 Warriors makes me the greatest.
Yeah.
No, I don't think any one thing can possibly make you the greatest. And that's why when I see any of those posts that say, this person did that and that's why they're the best, I'm like, no, that's not true. We have a super chat, and I apologize, Teddy. I did not get to it earlier. It's my bad. Apologies. See, apologizes too. If I'm blowing up the comment section, I don't think you are, Teddy. But have y'all seen Court of Gold yet?
No, I haven't.
I don't even know what that is, to be honest.
Is that the Olympic documentary?
Oh, is it the Olympic documentary?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking. I'm asking.
I'll look it up. Is Court of Gold?
Yeah.
It's the one where the college guys.
No, that's We Beat the Dream Team. I'm talking about with KD and with Serbia and.
Oh, it is. Yes, KD, Steph. Yes, against Serbia, and they're showing France here too. They're showing Wemby. Yes, I have not seen that.
I have not seen it neither. I am going to tap into it because I do have Netflix. Yes, I do.
You have Netflix? I was going to send you my. No, I mean, no, it wasn't. Can't do that. I think we have. Okay, we have a couple people who are waiting to, and we have 10 minutes left, so let's get to them, and then I'll do a shameless plug for an article that's coming out soon. We start with in Boston. I think he's cringing because how much money he just found out the Celtics are on the hook for.
Yeah. I knew we were already screwed cap wise, man. I already know I'm like 302 contracts for 300 M's. There's no way that's not going to screw us financially. I think Brown's out of here in like the next 2 years. He has a 2-year timer. After these 2 years are up, if we win a championship in these 2 years, beautiful, great. But after them 2 years, he's gone. We just can't. That's not sustainable. It's like Chill said, it's not sustainable for us to have two guys on $300+ million contracts. It's not sustainable. I don't think it is either. I don't.
Yeah, I agree.
Me neither. I don't know how. I think OKC is going to come up with the same issue. I'm not going to lie to you, Chill.
Well, they got a lot of guys. I think the difference with OKC is they got a lot of guys on their books that they own their bird rights. So like Wiggins, they own his bird rights. Lou Dort, they own his bird rights. Shea, they own his bird rights. J-Dub, Chet. I mean, they got a lot of guys who they own their bird rights.
That just means that they can sign them regardless of where they are in the cap. But if OKC gets into the $250 million, they can't afford that.
No.
Especially how expensive Shea's going to get. Like, if Tatum got like a $310 million contract, like what's Shea getting? Like 320, 330?
But I think that's
Tatum got 360. We're talking about by the time
Tatum got 360, then we're looking in the 400 millions then. Like, how are they going to afford that?
Better get some good questions. Oh, the new TV deal is $76 billion. So
$76 billion. What happened? Question about the All-Star game, guys. What exactly do you guys didn't like about the All-Star game this weekend? I missed that part. What didn't you guys like?
I thought it was better. I won't argue that part. I did think that it was better. I don't like. I'm still not a fan of the format. Draymond brought up a really interesting point, and he was right. Like the rising stars. Like, what are you guys doing on Sunday night? No, you have no business here. On Sunday night is the All-Star game. The rising stars are not allowed in the All-Star game. Draymond brought up a really interesting point about working my or working my ass off to get on Sunday night. And Dalton Connect and Castle, who I'm a big fan of Castle, but Dalton Connect and all of those young guys, you haven't earned the right to play on Sunday night yet. You have not.
Yes, they did. They won their way in.
No, Tone, you're not there yet. No, you're not there yet. Sunday night is the
sour apples.
No,
sour grapes.
Sunday night, and Draymond is right. Sunday night is the All-Star game. Sunday night is not the game for rooks who just got here. No,
do you think it depends on the rookie? Do you think it depends on the rookie?
No, it doesn't.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
so
Really?
No, I don't.
If
If a rookie is an all-star, okay, sure. If a rookie
that's
is
what
an
I'm talking about.
all-star,
Like if the rookie is like an all-star caliber player, like
You're
Wemby,
saying for
okay,
all
if he's an all-star caliber player, those two things are not the
It's
same.
just not for rising stars.
No,
Yep,
and he's right.
right? So
He's
rising
right.
stars, so no rising stars, Chill. So like if we
No.
went back to when James was a rookie, you wouldn't be okay with James playing on Sunday?
Nope, I would not be.
Whoa.
No, he wasn't even. He shouldn't have even been rookie of the year.
No, I would not be.
Really?
Absolutely
You
not.
don't think so?
James didn't earn the right to be on that
Correct.
floor on Sunday night yet. He didn't.
I agree.
No, he didn't.
Rook season, Chill.
No, he didn't. He did not earn.
Neither did Wemby last season either.
Nope, not yet. If you
Okay.
went all-star, then I could get with it, but no, not yet.
Okay.
Now that's why we have the Rising Stars game. We have the Rising Stars game to show, all right, this is the future. What this is going to look like.
They're not there yet. They're not there
you
yet.
ain't there yet. No.
I got a cool this last question for you, Fluent. I asked Chill this hypothetical. I got to get your answer on this.
Sure.
So I got these 3 teams, right? I'm going to add 3 all-time greats to them, okay? And these are like the 3 worst teams in the league. So I'm going to take Charlotte. I'm going to add Michael Jordan to Charlotte. I'm going to add Magic to Charlotte. And I'm going to add Jabbar to Charlotte. Now I'm going to go to the Pelicans. I'm going to add Nash to the Pelicans, the Diesel to the Pelicans, and last but not least, T-Mac to the Pelicans. Okay? Okay. And now we're going to add, what's the other team that I was thinking about? It's a terrible team. Wizards, right? It was the Wizards. I'm going to add Prime James, Prime KD, and Prime, what was the big man I had added?
You told me Olajuwon.
It was Olajuwon?
Yep,
it was Olajuwon. Great. And it was Prime Olajuwon. What team do you have going to the postseason? What team you got winning the NBA championship?
Well, you got Magic and Jabbar on the team, and I'm a Laker dude. So and then you throw in MJ too. So Charlotte's
take Jordan with him too, Tone. By the way, why you got Jabbar and Magic here? Take Jordan too.
You give me the greatest point guard of all time, the greatest center of all time, and the greatest shooting guard of all time. So I got the 3 at 3 positions, the greatest player at that position of all time. One's a passer, one's a finishing big man, the other's a scorer, and one's good defensively. I'm going Charlotte winning. I'm going to take, although it's close with the Wizards, because James, KD, and Olajuwon is wow. You've got
they got their point guard. They have their point guard, LeBron,
scorer, and they have one of the greatest 2-way players, if not the greatest 2-way player of all time in Olajuwon. So they are going to probably meet them in the finals. Oh no, they're both in the East. I guess they're meeting in the Eastern Conference Finals. And then the Pelicans.
Are they getting to the finals?
No, they're going to lose in the first round because they have T-Mac.
Really?
He's only played 7 games. The most he's ever played in any playoff series is 7.
That's it.
You don't think Diesel gets him to the finals?
The curse of Tracy McGrady. We got to go, Jay. Good to talk to you, brother.
Have a good one, guys.
We got 3 people waiting. We got to go. Thanks, Jay. Tim Hobbs.
What's up, brother?
Only one thing, Tim.
Fluent Chill, what's good?
What's up, brother?
I got a question for you, Fluent. I got a question for you, Chill. So, Fluent, Alex Rodriguez and Mark Lord, they won the operation. So, what do you think about that? And Chill, my question for you is, how do you feel about Anthony Edwards saying that he doesn't want to be the face of the NBA?
I don't have a problem with it. And the reason why I don't have a problem with it is because, that's a lot. Anthony Edwards knows who he is. He knows exactly who he is. And it's a lot to be in the face of the league. Don't forget, what he got? Like 4 kids by 4 different chicks? Anthony Edwards wild as hell out here.
Yeah, he is. And that's
when you turn on the NBA, this is what they're telling you the face of the league is. When you turn the league on and they show you him. A lot comes with that, and not a lot of guys are able to do that. So, I don't blame. I think he's a young guy who just wants to play and be awesome. That's it.
Yeah. If it was just like strictly just basketball, then I'm sure he wouldn't have no issue with it. But I think he understands like the politics of it. You know what I'm saying? Like he wants to just live his life. He don't want the spotlight on his life. You know what I'm saying? So
let me do me, man. Let me do me. That's why I'm on record saying this, Tone. I think Jordan would have had a difficult time in today's game. Just off the strength of what social media is, he would have had a real tough time.
Really? I feel like it could have gone either way because I feel like he could have taken everything negative personal.
Yeah, I mean, with Ant though,
he would have Tone, right? I think he would have on the basketball court, but the other stuff, other stuff, he would have had a problem with. It would really.
Well, but listen, he's 60, whatever, but and happy birthday to Mike. It was his birthday yesterday. He's 62, 63, whatever he is.
62.
He's not on social media. So he might have been, because there's few guys who aren't on social at all. So he could have been maybe one of those guys that wasn't. To your question for me, Rodriguez and Lore becoming majority owners of the Timberwolves, either one of two things is going to happen. They're going to bring some stability and keep these guys there, and this franchise goes where they, in a direction where they start winning consistently, or I don't know how much money Mark Lore has, but I know Alex Rodriguez is a former player, so he's not a super billionaire. Or do they go on the cheap? And then you're going to see guys like Ant, and you already said Gobert's gone. We've already agreed Randall's gone. I
don't know about Rudy leaving because he just signed a 3-year extension.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I thought you said Rudy was gone. I
think he's going to be gone off the street.
No, we just signed him to a 3-year extension.
And you just signed Cat to a max, and you moved up from the next year. So
we signed Cat 2 years ago, and then when did the CBA just kick in? Like last year, right?
Yep. And Cat contract kicked in last year. So same.
Yeah, that's the only reason why we had to do. Well, we didn't have to get rid of Cat. We didn't have to get rid of him. The issue was that, and I don't understand it either. The team didn't want to lose Nickeil Alexander-Walker and Naz Reid, so that's why they made the trade.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, man. Appreciate you, Tim.
All right, Tim. Good to talk to you, brother.
Baba and Baba left. So that leaves it. Oh no, he didn't. There he is.
He's still here. What up?
One thing though, because super overtime again. We're gonna get fired.
We are so getting fired.
Oh, okay. Oh, thank you guys for letting me join. Here's the thing. Like, I know you guys mentioned this earlier, and so I would like to hear where you guys want these certain players to play at. But I do agree that the Luka trade has really just caught a lot of eyes on people, because I do feel like Ja Morant is gonna. I feel like he is somebody. The Heat culture could repair his image, in my opinion. So I would like.
I don't hate him in Miami. I don't.
Yeah, I kind of like that with Pat kind of, and Spoelstra was good, solid coaching, respectable. Yeah, that's actually not a bad thing.
Taking better care of his body too down here.
Mm-hmm. I like it.
And then like things like players like Zion too. Like, where do you see like Zion or Embiid, those kind of players going?
I had Zion in Toronto. Brandon Ingram was the guy who ended up there, but I thought it was going to be Zion. That's why. That's what I had heard. So I think Zion. Someone's going to take a chance on Zion, and it's not going to be. I don't think it's going to be like a contending team.
Yeah. Okay. I was surprised to even hear you said LaMelo Ball too. So, but I know you guys got to go. But I was just curious to hear your guys' thoughts. So, thank you,
sir. Good to talk to you, brother.
All right, last one, Jerome.
What up?
I didn't pull him up yet.
All right, you got it.
What up?
There it is.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, let me touch on. Y'all touched on a lot of stuff, but I'll start with the All-Star game. You really do have to understand, I consider myself a great athlete in my time. We don't just show up while they out at the park and shoot and try to go against guys that we know we can beat. I'm like, if you ran into a guy that has superior talent, some people are amazing. I mean, they don't even have to. I'm like, man, why do I have to prove that to you? A lot of this stuff that goes on the All-Star game is watered down. There's no bite to it. We done seen it so many times. So of course, yeah, I don't care about it. I just want to.
With that being said, though, Jerome, like you just said, you were a great athlete in your day. So no matter how many times you've proven it, we show up. Jerome, I'll bust your ass. What you say, Chill? I could have said it to you 6, 7, 8 different times. What? Come on out here and get it. And that's going to go on forever with you and I because we're competitors. No matter what, at the end of the day, we are competitors. Now, there's some people where you like, you know what? I mean, I ain't really got nothing to prove. But if that's the case, then what am I doing here then? Why am I here if I'm doing that?
But I agree, but I tend to agree with you, Jay, because when you're that good, so I'll give you an example. My team and I, I'm going way back to high school. We were in Hawaii for a tournament.
Yep.
And in our off day, me and a friend of mine, me and Stu, who thought we were the shit, walked around where there was courts and we're challenging people to play. We didn't know if they were good or not, but we just want to bust their ass to prove that we were the best. Mm-hmm. And so I think there's that mentality, to your point, is that when you are that good, again, they're going against other NBA players. It's not like they're doing what we're doing, walking down the street, just, trying to find a game to make some money. Like, these are NBA talented players. So I think they're going to want to prove that they should want to prove that they're better than them. I think
that's just part of it.
No. Yeah. But the psychology on that is it's the stakes are not high enough. This is what you have to understand about these guys that are great. The stakes has to be high. They'll get out their bed for that. But for the All-Star game, you got to admit, bro, it's been so watered down. They're not going to check. Who cares if you scored 30 or 50? So, yeah, it's kind of pointless. So that stuff is gone. That ship has been sailed. Nobody really wants to watch it. Yeah, so you understand why I'm coming about the athletes. They don't really want, they could care less about, because it means nothing. If you make that the pinnacle, now you would see a lot of guys come out, the woodworks to prove it. Man, nobody don't care nothing about you won the church league or you challenging me. Or that's like a rapper they ain't got signed yet. Guess what they do when they at the club? They start rapping in front of them, trying to show them up. They not gonna rap for what? That's how all stars feel about it. Why? Nothing to gain. Okay, bro, you win. There's no stakes.
You're not wrong.
Yeah. Y'all touched on that Bobo. I'm gonna give you this quick take on my Bobo.
Yep.
You got to understand, it's more than basketball and talent. Bobo is talented, very, but I know he's young, and you don't know what kind of cancer he is to that locker room and other people. Some people can't get along with other people. He's from another country, and I see. And they're going to call him lazy. In practice, he might not want to hustle on the drills, not paying attention and stuff like that. I can see that happening. And that's why he's not a coach. I've been around a lot of coaches. They don't care how talented you are. You want to fight the coach on that hill. And that's what happens a lot of times. Your talent sometimes can get suppressed. I watched a lot of good guys that had bad attitudes. They can play, but they're not going to play for you. And once somebody pick up on it, like a Westbrook, a Kawhi Leonard, it's a lot of guys. James Harden.
Hey, Jerome, we got to go, brother. But we really appreciate you, my man. We really appreciate you.
Right. And what you're saying is true. But
it's legit. It's absolutely legit. But we got to.
Yeah. Oh, y'all been on here for 2 hours, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we way past time, man.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yep. Good to talk.
Check out tomorrow on sportsfluent.com the article I told you about that was coming out. But we done with the frauds. That's what we done with the 80s and 90s guy. It should be interesting. They got his stats. 2.4 points per game. So make sure to go to sportsfluent.com and check that out. March the 12th, the Miami Heat will be facing the Buffalo Braves in Miami. You want to go? We should go. I'll be in Miami.
That didn't sound like a bad idea. All right, no doubt.
We'll do a live from the game.
Uh-huh.
Do you know anybody down there? Can get us like I did in Detroit. Oh, come on, Jay. If we go to Detroit, I get us on the court. We can meet. See, that's when you're not good. You're not good like me. You gotta.
And I am a people person. I am. I'm very much a people person. But I do need to start politicking a little bit more than I do.
It was so hard. I was talking. I know we're way over time, but just quickly how the Matt McClung thing happened. Mm-hmm. I was talking to my boy Graham Bunn. Shout out. who lives in LA. He was out at the gym throwing lobs to McClung because they boys. I had no idea. Honestly, I had no idea. And so I was talking to him, just, you check in and say, hey, how's everything going? Blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, yeah, I need to get Mac on Fluent Chill because, he's the one guy who actually did three-peat. I was making fun of Patrick Mahomes. I said, who did three-peat this season? I go, we got to get him on the show. He goes, oh, you want me to text him for you? I'm like, huh? What? I'm like, no, because you know me. I'm like, no, I don't want you to know. He goes, no, it's cool. We're cool like that. I could do that. And I'm like, he goes, it's probably going to be busy this week right after All-Star game, but after that it should open up. And I'm like, well, hell yeah, hell yeah, I do. But
we got time for you. Yes, we do, brother.
But I don't have that in my brain to see that he was hanging out with him and click and be like, oh, you know him? Can you know what I mean? Like, I don't think that way. It's like when I was at the Pistons game, I see someone I know. I don't tell them, hey, can you get me down there? They come over and they say, hey, do you and your kid want? Yeah, that actually just happened. They pointed and went, hey, come here. And they brought me and Fluent Jr. and my nephew onto the court. I was, at the Globetrotters. We have my friend Cheese. He's like, hey, I'm going to be in your neck of the woods. He messaged me on Monday or Tuesday. And he's like, hey, we're going to be there on Saturday. Do you and the fam want to come down? I'm like, oh,
yes, we do.
No, I said, my son is doing this thing with his friend and there's 6 of us. And he goes, that's cool. I'll get you 6 tickets. I'm like, no. And he's like, no, it's cool. Let's go. I go, how much do I owe you? He goes, no, we got you. And I'm like, come through. Front row, great seats, came over and was, high-fiving and hanging out with the kids. They had a blast, by the way. So again, thank you, Cheese. Like, it was so good. But it's not, I feel weird. Like, I'm like, let me pay something. Let me do something. Like,
you just going to the game is the payment enough? That's what it is. Yes,
I know, but you know how it is. Like, you never ask for tickets from nobody, but occasionally he says, yo, come here, let's do this, right? All right, we way over time. Don't fire us.
Great show today. Absolutely, man. We got the last third of the season left. Playoffs. Today is February the 18th. I think the playoffs are 2 months from today. Yeah, playoffs start 2 months from today. Yep.
Now the games start to matter.
Yep. Playoffs start 2 months from today. So we got some real action now. Real action. So I'll be interested to see what happens. But we will see you guys soon. Until then, put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Hey, man, call your mother. Look, as you can see, I just missed a phone call from who?
Uh-oh. It says mother. Your mom's in your phone is mother?
Yes. I just missed a phone call from my mother.
Hey, listen, next week, I'm going to be coming to you live from Newfoundland. St. John's, Newfoundland. Fluent, be in the build. Well, I'll be over there. I'll be in a hotel.
We will see you guys soon. Thanks for tuning in. We will see you guys soon. Until then, take it light. Take it. Absolutely, man.
Newfoundland.
Oh, Canada. Put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Hey, man, call your mother.
It means nothing. It means nothing.
No, they lying to you. It's about the money.
Now you're more fluent.